Good morning, everybody. So I figured I'd have a conversation with you all while I was in this wonderful Houston traffic. You know, that wonderful Houston traffic. So if you are looking at my video for the first time, I do have two more. I'm new to this, so, but I do have two other videos. I'm explaining what my channel is about, and it's basically taking you on a walk through my divorce journey. My name is Melissa again, and 19. Just remember 19. So 19 years of marriage, got married when I was 19. And unfortunately, you know, 2019, oh my God, 2019, I discovered that my husband was having an affair. So, oh my gosh, 19 is not a good number for the kid. Forget that. 19 is dead. um, but I didn't say in my last video, I do have a 16-year-old daughter who currently lives with me. Um, and she is the greatest. And, we have our good times and we have our moments, but through it all, we've both been pretty strong for each other. And I love that kid. I'll do anything for that kid. So, but besides that, I have thinking moments. And I have a friend, and I'm sorry that, I have thinking moments all the time. And some of them may be sleepy thinking moments, but I have thinking moments. But in that thinking moment, I thought about for better, for worse. And, when we take our vows, that's one of the things that stick with us for better and for worse. But as I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, better or worse, there's other parts to that sickness and in health. Sickness and what? I probably screwed that up. But I think we twist that a lot for better, for worse. For better, we're doing great. Our marriage is healthy. We're loving each other. We're producing. And that's whether it's with your family, that's financially, that's spiritually, you're producing, you're showing something for the time you've invested in your marriage. For worse, that person gets sick, that person loses his or her job, uh, that person injures themselves, that person, has a mental breakdown, for worse. But for better, for worse does not make mental or physical abuse acceptable. And I said it. When people who say they love you are basically pissing on you, they're abusing you, especially when you've done nothing to deserve it. Abuse, baby, is abuse. Again, whether it's mental abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, abuse is abuse. And it's not acceptable. But then we still hold on to our vows of for better, for worse. No, that's not part of it. For better, for worse is what I was talking about. You go through situations in your marriage. You go through arguments. You go through ups and downs Shit, a marriage is a ongoing roller coaster. And sometimes through those roller coasters, you're on that flat part where y'all just cruising and y'all cool. And that's great, but in reality, it's a roller coaster because you bring different elements into your marriage. Whether it's when you're first starting, it's just you and your significant other, and then you start bringing in kids and mutual friends who have their own energy, and energy is a big thing. Oh my gosh, I've learned that other people's energy can be a detriment to your marriage. If you're constantly around people who are negative, that negativity does rub off on you. And I hope you know that, whether you realize it or not. If you're dealing with people who are going through in their marriage and you're not strong enough in your marriage, you need to have them talk to somebody who is. Because that energy can definitely rub off on your marriage and make those worst times terrible times because now you have somebody else's energy in your house. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. You have to know when to say no is no. But back to what I was saying. For better, for worse. Um, yeah. My marriage, I felt that I gave chance and I gave room for reconciliation. And I was thinking in my mind, for better, for worse, but all in all, it was doing was making me suffer. And in my last video, I talked about repairing or band-aiding things, and you cannot band-aid things. And you definitely cannot band-aid things, and the other person is not willing to walk with you to heal it. Because all you're doing is putting a band-aid on it. Okay, it's all right. It's okay. And then that other person rips the band-aid off, and now you're just walking around with an open wound. You're suffering. Why? Why should you be the one that's always suffering? Why should you be the repairer? Why should you be the one who constantly has in the back of their mind for better for worse? And someone can argue with me, and that's fine, but I don't agree with that in that content. I agree with it when you all are going through but not being abused. Abuse is a whole different subject. That's a whole different thing. And I think that we wed that into one thought or one belief, and it's not true. It's not true. Because when I realized, you know what, Melissa, it's done. You're done. You're done. And my mother, my cousins, my siblings, friends that I hold dear to my heart said, Melissa, you're stronger than the situation you're in. You can do it. And I'm doing it. Don't ever think that you cannot do it. God brought you into this world by yourself. Believe that. And guess when you leave it? You're going to be by yourself. So it's going to be a point in your life where things are not going to go right or things are going to go as expected. And you have to be able to know, understand, and have confidence in yourself that it will be okay. People have gone through this. They've gone through it. They've gone through it. Through it. Didn't stay stagnant. Didn't try to hold on to it. They went through it and they made it. And it's not going to stop, unfortunately. We're not going to wake up in the world and everything is going to be perfect. We're not. But you got to realize you can go through it and you have to make adjustments to make it okay because you want your better life. And I tell people right now, oh my gosh, I'm living my best life. I am. And I should have been living my best life. I should have been doing that. But, life lessons. Lesson learned. You move on and you keep moving. But don't settle for something that you've become accustomed to. Don't settle for something that you're familiar with, because all you're doing is holding up what's promised to you. Where we only have so much time, this isn't our forever world. So you want to make an impact on it. And even with these videos for myself, I said it has to be something that I'm supposed to be doing with this, because my life is not built around circumstance. It has a purpose. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a lesson. And maybe my lesson is not just only for me, it's for somebody else. And I can't be afraid or embarrassed, or shit happens. Did I want it to happen? No, but it happened. So I guess I'm here to encourage you, your friend, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, whomsoever. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna push through it. You're gonna be just fine. And when you realize that you got this, your whole perspective on life will change. But don't use misinterpreted beliefs to control your life. Don't use being familiar with something to control your life. Don't use money to control your life. Sex, anything. Don't use it to control your life. You control your life. You have the power to survive. And that's it. Till this evening, because I'm going to try to do 2 videos a day. Until this evening. See ya.